got back from a long day ride after finding out my own mom, my mom was assaulted in Atlanta on the subway. This bike trip was like the perfect escape for a moment in time. This is my attempt to, I don't know, my attempt to pick up the pieces through our journey and figure out, how to process what Hana is.
My brother came up to me one day and he was like, hey, you want to go on this sick 2-month bike trip that I've been planning for almost like half a decade? And I guess at that point I was like, okay, I can't say no because he's been planning it for so long. But also it like sounds like exciting, especially since I've been like trapped inside my house doing practically nothing for the past 2 years because of COVID.
Hi, my name is Young. I'm 30 years old. I'm an actor. Maryland is where I grew up. I grew up with Pac. We spent most of our adolescence together in the same community. I spent most of my 20s in New York City, just working in finance to support my dreams as an artist. Then a pandemic hit, and it fucked up everything I had planned and imagined. Suddenly everything became nothing. And I remember Pac had been asking me to go on this bike trip. He said, let's bike across the country and I want you to film it. And immediately, no, I was like, no, because I'd never biked for more than like 5 miles, not even like 2 miles. And I also never camped for more than 2 to 3 days at a time. I was just spending time at home with my family, kind of in this existential crisis. And then I was having dinner with my family and my dad was mentioning the trip. Very nonchalantly, he told me, if I was your age, I'd do it. So that kind of settled it for me, and I told Pat, yeah, I'm down.
We're 3 Korean Americans pedaling 2,400 miles from Arizona to Canada along the Great Divide, each searching for answers along the way.
It's about 4 a.m. Trying to get an early start to beat the heat, and just packing up and ready to hit the road. Hopefully we'll have some cooler weather today, now that there's no excessive heat warning, but needless that's the case.
First day of our bike trip was us being sick. That's the most memorable part of the first day. Nobody wants a cold on the first big day of anything, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Strangely, me and my brother, we didn't feel hot at all. We actually felt pretty good. The cold was actually helping us like get through the first day, and the heat didn't really affect us.
I never cramped so hard in my life. I was severely dehydrated, and then I ate these Gatorade chews for energy because I thought I needed sugar, but they actually had caffeine. So I ate what it's like being dehydrated in the desert and then chugging like a double espresso.
Very good.
I realized that I wasn't as good as I thought I was, or I could not as bike as much as I thought I could. I was like in the back for like most of the time, like trying to keep up, and I think that's what shocked me, because when you think you can like do a thing but it ends up being a lot harder than you think it was gonna be, that's probably like the first thing I learned on this trip, and to humble myself more. Everything I thought I knew, I don't really, and I think that's a pretty good experience for me to have.
I thought on a lot of things during these particularly difficult stretches of the journey. Most of that stuff that's not even recorded because I'm just focusing on myself and coming to terms with myself, and I guess I would include my sins, which is not in such like a biblical sense, but in a sense that it's like all that pains me, all my angst, the things that hurt me, which is self-inflicted through 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 sin.
I'm emotionally and mentally drained. I just been like piggybacking Young and Matthew who are new to bike packing. You know, there's like a different emotional mindset that I have to take. They're family, they're blood.
I first came to Silver City, New Mexico. My brother told me about a house called the Bike House, which apparently was famous for housing bikers who needed a place to rest after a long day of biking for free. And I was like, for free? Really? They just like let you sleep there for free? My brother was like, yeah. When we arrived at the bike house, they treated us like family too. It was strange because I had never really met someone who just treated me like I was like part of their family, like upon like the first time they saw me. I'd been holding myself back for most social interaction I'd had like throughout high school. People I met at the bike house, they didn't care about any of that stuff.
Is that what surprised you? It's the niceness of people.
A little bit, but I think the only reason it surprised me was because I was like being paranoid for no reason.
Paranoid about what?
Like racism.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I didn't think I wasn't like remotely worried about it until like the Atlanta shooting happened.
Yeah.
And then still I wasn't really worried about it until I was like, wait, bike trip.
One thing I do want you to do though is stop getting so stressed out like easily. Yeah, cause you were like, I've been enjoying the trip so far, and I was like, are you sure? I guess I had different expectations coming in. Like what? I thought, after a couple weeks we'd just be cruising, but I've already decided that if we don't make it to Canada, it's whatever.
Getting to Silver City was like seeing fresh air for the first time. Got to just kind of cool down, and I also got a new bike. My parents were so worried for my health that they chipped in for my 30th birthday to help me get a much nicer bike. Hopefully help me with this crazy journey. I mean, you should see the bike that Pac provided. He said he found it at a laundromat, and he welded like a metal basket to it, and that was that. So now I got this much more a mountain and journey suited bike, so hopefully that'll help me. And I'm also, I'm getting stronger by the day. We made it out of the desert. My legs have been recovering, getting stronger, although I'm still dealing with stressed bones and tendons and muscles. There is this feeling of simplicity that you can't really replicate anywhere else when you're just riding, 50 miles a day on a bike. There's a camaraderie when you're suffering with, your friend side by side, going up the same hills, going through the same trials and tribulations. I've been trying to balance being a videographer and a photographer with, surviving on this trip, and then also experiencing it wholesomely, like with being in the moment without being so distracted with trying to catch everything. It's been really fun because there's so many corners that when you turn, there's things that you would not expect. I looked at the map. We have a hell of a long way to go, and I'm excited to see what comes next.
This week was really bad because we like tripled our mileage like suddenly, and we had to wake up at like 4 a.m. for like 2 days straight. So I don't know, Mostly I just remember like cycling and like being really tired and cycling even more and then being more tired.
Humanity and people is the lesson I'm learning again. How inherently good people really are when you come face to face with them. You have no choice but to be humans and be good to each other. I think this is the lesson that I've learned over my travels and that I forgot about. Some people may say that, oh, race and the outdoors, it doesn't matter. In my reality, it matters. I'm proud to be Asian. I've had these encounters in the outdoors and how it's hard to not think about that when you are in the midst of a pandemic where people who look like this, who look like me, are targeted. I didn't know whether I wanted to do this trip for the safety reasons with my little brother and I. Through this concept of haunt, I want to manifest my haunt to create.
You okay, man? Oh, shit. Oh. I ended up in the ER to get my leg checked out. It's bandaged up, but can I say it's just part of the adventure. Close call. I almost had to get surgery, and luckily the liquid inside my swelling wasn't coagulated blood, and so they were able to drain it here. And so I just need to rest for a few days, and I can be back on the trail. Yeah, everything almost kind of came crashing down. Yeah. Crazy. Say love you. This is so surreal. We walk in, and first thing we see was Korean television. Then we realized this place was Korean owned.
Korean owned.
This is the first Asian person, Korean person we've met
yeah.
in this whole trip.
조심해야 돼. 예. 뛴다 조심해. 왜 술 마시고 그냥 저기였어.
너무
나 먹는 줄 알고. 그래 알았어 내가.
맛있게 먹을게요.
그래 그래.
고마워요.
Having a fully Korean meal in New Mexico, and population of 10,000 or less.
Crazy.
나는 이제 동두천 한국 동두천 캠 케이시 거기에서 군대 생활할 때 찍은 거고. 이거는 이제 I work for the Pentagon. They send me up to overseas.
Camel work.
봐봐.
This is wild. I can't believe this is happening. Riding on, baby.
Riding on.
Yeah, just from the kindness of their hearts, they're just helping us out and providing for us with such a meal that we savor, a meal that reminds us of home.
Supposed to happen. Korean magnetization.
From this man was from in Korea from years ago. Ended up in New Mexico. I'm all the way in the east coast of Maryland, New York, going around back and forth. LA back and forth.
Intersected.
And eventually the path just it's like meteors colliding in space.
I was exploring Del Norte, Colorado, and there was one bike shop run by Sam Bricker. He's actually a filmmaker. While he was fixing our bikes, he was like, there's actually a sign, a blue sign that signifies the 38th parallel that separates North and South Korea.
Imagine I wonder what it'd be like if it was just one.
Yeah.
If one side had one, we probably wouldn't be here. Maybe it's almost like a good thing that the war is forgotten. I mean, it's like, why would you want to have the residuals of trauma? And when I told you my dad was like, oh, I don't really have Han. Maybe he suppresses it on purpose because it's better to not be in a generation full of war.
It's just because of politics is why
A whole entire country was
divided, families split.
And it's already a small enough country as it is,
Yeah.
invaded for generations by China, Manchuria, Japan.
That Han is what I think is the creation of our flourishing country.
If I were to walk on a straight line, and just go all the way, keep going, and look to my left, maybe I would see like a long lost family member, like a cousin or something.
Yeah. Huh.
The start of the pandemic, I spent like a year inside. I don't know, that kind of just like messed up my brain a little bit. When I first came out on the trip, it kind of felt like I wasn't like really there. I think I've like slowly transitioned and gotten used to like actually being like a functioning human being that actually goes outside. I guess I kind of like forgot how to really like interact with people. When you're on the trail, you're interacting with people like every single day. I don't know if I've gotten better with interacting with them, but I think I've gotten more comfortable at least.
Watch out, world!
I'm busy.
We were hanging out in the hammocks, and Matthew said he saw a Korean guy, a Korean cyclist. And I was like, no way. Here in Lima, Montana, there's nobody here. And no way an old Korean man would be riding this route.
Interviewing Mr. Kim was really cool.
He's going through the same thing, but he's much older. He was telling me that he would repent as he would go through these difficult paths. Yeah, he was a man on a journey. He was a man on a spiritual journey. You could see it in his eyes. In anime, when those old masters of the craft or whatever, they have like those powerful looking eyes, he had those eyes.
많은 한국 분들도 마음의 여유를 갖고 너무 경쟁하고 우리가 좁은 땅에서 좁은 데서 살아왔기 때문에 그리고 우리가 한이 많은 나라고 지금 이제 한이 되는 거예요. 일제 시대가 있었어요. 그리고 뭐 평균 2년에 한 번 내지는 뭐 어느 정도로 우리는 계속 침략을 당하고 살아온 나라예요. 소련, 중국, 일본, 이 강대국에 의해서 계속 침략당하고 힘이 없는 나라로 살아왔어요. 그러니까 한이 많은 나라죠. 정치를 제대로 할 수가 없었었고 그만큼 약한 그 한이 많이 있던 대한민국에 정치를 못하니까 백성들이 보릿고개도 있었고 굶는 그런 케이스도 많고 그런 데서 우리 한국 사람은 한이 많다고 그런 어려움 속에서 살아왔고 다행히 이제 그런 시절이 다 지나가고 그 안에 또 핍박의 한이 또 얼마나 많았겠어요? 그리고 또 한이 된 게 그것으로 그 일제에 의해서 살아온 이후에 나는 대한민국을 생각할 때 또 한이 된 게 결국 우리끼리 싸우게 된 거야. 저 사람은 일본하고 가까웠었던 나는 독립자다. 옳고 그런 걸 떠나서 화합이 돼야 될 텐데 이제 그런 싸움이 된 거예요. 그런 거에서 또 서로 편차적으로 싸움이 되는 거예요. 그러니 한 국민이 얼마나 불행한 거예요?
I really uncovered within my own identity as a Korean American what Han means to me. Han is just a collective sacrifice that my parents and ancestors have done for me. Their sacrifices led me to pursue my dreams in America, and I feel like it would be such a waste to not go after what I want with all the sacrifice that my ancestors have made. There's just so much history, and that's what Han is, history of my people. I want to use my Han to represent my people.
When my brother first told me about Han, I could tell it was Korean. I would want to say that I relate to it and I know what it means, but honestly, I don't think I do. And I think that in itself is another expression of Han, because my parents, they moved here so they could find a better life for themselves. And that in turn provided a better life for me. I have a part of my parents' culture in me because the way they raised me, they imparted a gift of their culture in me. I might not understand my true cultural identity that well. I can find my own Han in my own experience that's relative to me.
Han is, to me, maybe a reoccurring dream of being hunted. A dream I used to always have as a kid, growing up into my adulthood. And as I grew up throughout the dream, I would be less overcome by fear and more overcome with energy. Suddenly throughout these dreams, I'm still getting hunted, but I'm running towards them, or I'm running around, and I'm like it's on. Han is like that grit, the refusal to just die. And so sometimes I have imposter syndrome. Like, if I go back to Korea, would they accept me as one of their own, or would they see me as an outlier, an anomaly, something that I felt my whole life? But I think I have that Han. It's in my blood. Korea has been a country that has been under duress for so long. And here I remain.
We're about 5 miles from the border. Any last words? Any last thoughts?
You said my word. Oh, that's cool. 내 세상에 번져 널 사랑하고 내 품에 안겨 함께 늙어가는 하고 싶어 네 맘도 나와 항상 같은 맘 변치 말고 늘 내 곁에 있어줘
Fucking trip, Oh man. No words.
You said my
I ripped my pants.
Oh, hey, it's me, Matthew.